All right, now we're live. Let's try this again. So today we're unboxing the Rad Power Bikes RadMission 1. An electric bike that Rad Power Bikes announced last year. And it comes in at $10.99. I'm just checking some quick things here to make sure we're good. Make sure my sound's good. Let's see, maybe if someone's in the comment section can let me know if they can hear me. See if the volume's coming through okay. All right, there we go. All right, now we can get started. Let's move the camera a little bit closer here. All right, so this is the RadMission 1 from Rad Power Bikes, and we're gonna unbox it. And if you have any questions about anything electric bikes, you can let me know. Happy to talk about Rad Power Bikes, happy to talk about any other brand. And yeah, let's get started. So first thing, let's get this out of the box. It was delivered, I think it was Thursday, by FedEx, and a little minor damage, nothing too crazy there. There's just foam there. And this is a lighter bike, so we should be able to just take this bike out relatively easily. And it is the gray color. There we go. It's definitely a lot lighter than some other e-bikes. See if we can get this to stand on its own here. There we go. All right, so this is obviously the high step model of the RadMission. They also sell a mid step, which is really great for accessibility, obviously. And maybe before I talk about this bike, I've covered a bunch of Rad Power Bikes. We have a 2018 Rad Wagon that we use very regularly. We have, I think, 4,300 miles on it now. And I've also reviewed the Rad Rover step through. I did a video on the Rad Mini step through, so I'm really familiar with the Rad lineup. I created the Rad Owners Forum at radowners.com, community of over 2,000 people, I think, at this point. And so if you are interested in Rad Power Bikes and you want to connect with other people, a lot of people do customizations, talk about accessories, talk about issues, error codes, pretty much anything. Rad Power Bikes is on that forum, so be sure to check that out. It really is a great resource, and you know why I created that is because it's indexed by Google. So if you do a Google search for something, you might come upon some forum member that maybe has a similar question. It's much easier, in my opinion, than the Facebook groups out there. So tons of good content out there. And if you are looking to purchase a Rad Power Bike, please consider using my links. It really helps me make videos like this one, covering Rad Power Bikes as well as a bunch of other models. All right, that out of the way, let's start taking this bike apart. So I always recommend having a pair of these like little snips. Helps you get all the zip ties off. And this bike should be pretty easy to put together, I would imagine. Single speed bike, $10.99. Let's see. I covered a few weeks ago, I did a video on a few different bikes that all come in around this price range. And so if you are interested, you can find that at my website, ebikescape.com. If you look at the recent posts, there's some information there. And also you can find the video, if you look in my YouTube channel, you'll see it's called like $1,000-ish electric bikes. And so I was really excited to check out the RadMission because it is the most affordable model offered by Rad Power Bikes, which, if you aren't familiar, they're very well known for their customer service. They just raised $150 million. Let's see, last month they announced that. And so, they're going to be around for some time. And so it's a great company to buy from, in my opinion. They got the mobile service if you live in some big cities. They also have a Seattle location, a Vancouver location. I think they might be opening up a San Diego location. And I think they might even have one in the Netherlands as well. Not sure about that. But I know they are expanding their retail presence, which is cool because, some people like that service. So here's the front wheel that I took off. Little protector for the disc here, disc rotor. Let's see if I can pop this off quick. One thing I have noticed is as I've gotten some of these new Rad Power Bikes and unboxed, and my brother actually purchased a RadWagon 4, which is really, I like the RadWagon bike just generally, but he got a RadWagon 4. And I've noticed they've started to do a lot more with just warning you, because you are putting this bike together at home. And so they kind of want to protect themselves, I'm sure. So this one says, ensure the front wheel quick release skewer is properly installed, fully seated in the fork, with the locking lever properly tensioned and secured. Make sure, check it regularly. So that's a good suggestion for folks, just people who aren't familiar. I find that these bikes are fairly easy to put together, and I think if you take your time, Rad has their own videos. And I should mention, I'm not a professional bike mechanic at all, so I'm just putting this bike together, so don't take anything that I say as true of what a bike mechanic might tell you or something. I've also noticed they have a different saddle here, a little bit thinner saddle. Of course, this is something that people just generally upgrade on their electric bikes quite frequently. So we'll see how this feels. And let's see, I think this is I think the motor peaks at, 500 watt motor. I should look it up and make sure. I sometimes get some of these more affordable bikes confused. And 500 watt motor. 50 newton meters of torque. And what I'm most curious about with this electric bike is how it can handle hills. So when I do my review of this electric bike, you can expect a bunch of content around hills and stuff. I'll do my best to show it. I was kind of talking about some of the safety things you can see here. They have another one talking about height. Probably with the seat post, you always want to make sure that your seat post is inserted past the minimum insertion line. Otherwise, there's potential for cracking. There's another one here that talks about your battery terminals. So yeah, lots of new warnings. They also have like a nice box. I think this is new. I think this is somewhat different. Everything's kind of branded. Also, I should mention I have a couple of the accessories here. Behind here, if you can see this box, this is the rear rack that can be purchased separately. They even have like official Rad Power Bikes components. So definitely doing some more branding and stuff. And let's see. So this is like the booklet on the RadMission 1 in the box. And if you are just joining me, definitely let me know if you have any questions about this bike. Do my best to answer that, but really anything electric bikes. That's kind of why I do this. I did an unboxing last week of the KBO Breeze, and a lot of people seemed interested. I think it had over like 500 views or something, which is pretty good for a live unboxing, so I figured I would do one again. Just kind of hang out. Anthony's Trains and Stuff says he loves his Rad Runner. Nice. I have not been on a Rad Runner yet. So they even have like the boxes, even, you know, specific RadMission. Yeah, this is definitely some kind of improvement to their packaging. It says, you know, it's a specific headlight box. So the cool thing is, for $1,100 e-bike, so it comes with a headlight. Again, probably not going to be adequate for at night, but good visibility, good for visibility. And I always like using external lights if I'm going to be riding at night. So, and pedals. These are the Wellgo pedals. Pretty common on electric bikes these days. I think these are the same ones. I'll have to open them up when I put them on. Okay, so this is, instead of having, let's see, the extra connector for the stem, they actually include it in here, so you kind of have to, I'm glad I opened this box first. So that's the piece for their stem, and there's all the screws for it and such, and let's see, a warning label on the keys for end user removal only. Notwithstanding any terms and conditions currently in the user manual, by using this e-bike you agree to the terms and conditions available at radpowerbikes.com/terms. Alright, definitely looking to protect themselves and taking some extra measures for sure. Nothing wrong with that. I think it just is a sign of the company maturing. Let's see, this would be the charger. And this is a 2-amp charger, and I assume this is the same one. Yep, same one that we have on our with our 2018 Radwagon. And what is really cool about this bike, the RadMission, if you're already in the Rad Power Bikes family, the batteries are cross-compatible. So this is a 10, I think it's technically a 10.4 amp hour battery. So if you already have a Rad Power Bike and you want extra range anyway, and you don't, maybe they don't even have the big batteries in stock, you could go ahead and buy a RadMission for $1,100, get a smaller battery so you can have your extra range, and you have another e-bike so someone else can go with you. So that's pretty cool. Can dirt. The RadMission is single gear. Yep, so single speed. That's kind of the, you know, why they can kind of get the price down, I imagine. And there are some electric bikes in this price range, again, if you check out that video that I did, that do have gears. But I'm really curious, like, this might be fine. I'll take it up some hills. You know, I'm fairly athletic, I suppose, and we'll see. I'm going to take it up some pretty big hills that I tested out pretty much all the electric bikes on that I've reviewed. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I mentioned this is the gray, so this is maybe not the most exciting color that they offer. I really like the blue and orange one that they offer, and then I think the mid step is also offered in like a bright orange blue. I really like that color scheme, but maybe there's some like accessories or something I can put on it to make it look a little cooler. Let's see, tools. It looks like they're including some of the standard tools. It might be a different brand or different, they say SCP on them. They're okay. You just want to be a little bit careful with some of the Allen keys, in my opinion. And I do have other tools here that I'll use if it seems like it's going to be easier. So yeah, various Allen keys. And what is cool and that I do like is they include this little brake pad adjuster. So this helps you adjust the let's see, so it'd be the inner pad on the disc brakes. I don't, just glancing at it, it might not, it looks like actually like this will help quite a bit on this bike. So on our Rad Wagon, the motor is quite a bit bigger than the current motor on the Bafang, like the wider ones on the bike. So it's harder to get into that brake pad adjustment. Like basically I have to take off the entire brake to do it. But this is very handy to have because sometimes mechanical disc brakes do need adjustments. Candert says he's still on the fence between a Rad and Ride One Up. Yep, two really good brands. I've talked pretty extensively about both of those. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong either way. I think you should just pick what's going to fit your needs the best. I think the benefit with Rad is, they have, I mean, it's hard for any company at this point, unless you're like a well-known bike brand already, like selling at bike shops, which you're going to pay more than at that point anyway. But it's hard for other direct-to-consumer brands to compete now. I shouldn't say, I think they still can compete, but it's hard to provide the same customer service that Rad is known for when they raise $150 million. Super 73 raised $25 million, I think, maybe a week after Rad announced it. So maybe I'm not as familiar with them. Like obviously I know their e-bikes and stuff, but I don't keep tabs as closely on them. I'm just much more familiar with what's kind of going on with Rad, basically because we own a Rad Wagon and I really like the company, and I cover pretty much everything that they release, and then of course the forum where I try to read as much as I can. So. Yeah, using the stimulus check for an e-bike, I think that's good. Good idea, good plan. Anthony has 4 Rads. And yes, Specialized, well, I just reviewed a Specialized electric bike. They are pricier, like the base model of the one I reviewed was about 40, or the base model, sorry, was 3,200, right around there. And the model that I tested out was $4,600, and it's a wonderful bike. Don't get me wrong. It's really nice design. The one I tested out had Dior XT parts and Shimano SLX, and so very high quality components. Let's see. I think I have some of my other tools here. I'm just gonna maybe grab those. I think it'll be a little faster for me to put some of this, the handlebars especially, on. And this does have, someone mentioned throttle, made me think that this does have the twist grip throttle, which as I ride some of these bikes more, I really do prefer the twist grip. If you're really, especially on like a moped style electric bike, if you're really using that thumb throttle a lot, it's not super comfortable. So, all right, so we got to spin the handlebars around here. Looks like there's one more zip tie I gotta cut in the front. Let's see, make sure I try to keep the bike from falling here. It's also worth mentioning that the RadMission doesn't have the LCD display, just has like a simple like LED display. So you'll want to, well, at least my preference would be to use like an app. I use Speedometer by Coolnix, but you could probably use I actually haven't gotten into like Strava and those sort of things, but I really like knowing how fast I'm going and those sort of things, and especially if you're tracking distance and stuff. You can just use a third-party app for it, not a huge deal. So. Are e-bikes too? I like the idea of a throttle. Are e-bikes too fast? Like they feel unsafe to ride? I would say majority of them, no. It's something that you get used to. Of course, you can buy an e-bike, definitely that has plenty of power, and you should be really careful. I think that's probably not stressed enough. Is like you should view an e-bike just generally more as a moped and not like a bike, because if you aren't careful, and if you're cranking on the throttle and you're not ready for it on any e-bike, any company really. You're gonna take off, and so you get used to it for sure, but something to keep in mind. All right, so let's see, another warning label: ensure the front wheel and handlebar stem are secured before each ride. And they tell you how to check that the handlebar stem quick release levers close securely, brace the front wheel, stand in the front of the bike facing the handlebar, and brace the front wheel between your feet, and then perform a twist test. So we're just talking about twisting the handlebars and making sure that you have everything secure. So I mean, with Rad's, with the amount of information that Rad is providing just on these warning labels and with all their videos and stuff, which I do recommend. I mean, of course you can watch this video as I'm putting this together, but I'm definitely not a bike mechanic, and it's probably best to go through Rad's recommendations on how setup and stuff. Plus, their videos designed for install. All right, and these are again like more straight handlebars, so like not swept back or anything. Let's see, we want. There we go. Sometimes it can be tricky to figure out how these handlebars go on, but basically we want the cables coming in. And then looks like we're just going to have the one brake cable coming in on one side and everything else coming in at the other. And what I like to do is kind of just put these in loosely to start and kind of tighten up everything before I take it for a test ride. And if you're curious, some of the tools I like using, like this Y wrench, is pretty handy. Obviously not a necessity to purchase any other components, but certainly, or any other tools, I should say. And see that more simplified LED display. Still got the bell on the front. Can these lighter bikes be ridden without a battery, or does the motor drag? Let's see. Yes, they can be ridden, but I don't see, you probably wouldn't want to do it for any length of time. We'll see how this one feels. I like in an emergency, if your battery runs out or something, to get home or something, I don't think it's a big deal. Of course, like the lighter bikes are going to be a lot easier. I mean, I can still pedal our 70-pound Rad wagon, probably not up a big hill without the battery. But I mean, usually, like when your battery's getting low, you start conserving, and you'd rather go in pedal assist 1 for the rest of your trip home than, leave it in pedal assist 3 and then, only get halfway and then have to pedal yourself. So, but there's bikes like the, so I think this bike is 40, let's see, is it just under 50 pounds? I can look at the specs in a second, but there's e-bikes that are, I mean, the Ride 1 Up Roadster V2 is 33 pounds or something like that. That bike definitely would be, easy to ride without any power. it's a little bit weird to see, up front here, there's no shifter. You basically have, the LED display and you have brakes. So it leaves a bunch of room for accessories, I guess. That's kind of a bonus. I have a video about the accessories that I use if you search for summer 2020 accessories. Otherwise, if you go to ebikescape.com, at the top there is a link to my electric bike accessories list, and that's a lot of accessories that I've personally reviewed. Some I haven't, but I try to review as many of them as I can. Okay, I think, I'm trying to think here, because this bike doesn't have a kickstand, I think I might put the front tire on and then try to lean the bike up against something here. Yeah, you could use like an e-bike for longer trips and stuff, but you probably, you'd be surprised the range that you can get on some of these bikes when you are in like pedal assist 1 if you're providing a decent amount of effort. Just taking the zip ties off here down by the front fork. Let's see if you guys can see that. They have the Rad Power bikes on the front of the bike here. And this does have the option to get a front rack as well. They are out of stock of those. All right, another warning. Talking about front wheel. So what they've done here is they put the quick release skewer on this platform down here, which secures the bike obviously in the box and stuff, but then you just have to remove this, probably twist it here. There we go. Tektro Aries disc brakes, pretty common on many e-bikes, especially in this price range, between the 1,000 to 2,000 price range on e-bikes that have disc brakes. All right, so I'm going to pull this skewer out. And we'll see when I get my review done of this bike. I still have to do the KBO review and kind of waiting for the weather to cooperate a little bit better. It'll be in 50 degrees or so this week, so I should be able to get some done. Oops, there's one more protector here on this side. There we go. The main thing is when you're putting these in, line up that disc. And I actually should have looked to make sure. I don't think they have a spacer in here for the disc. Sometimes, oops, I need the skewer in. Sometimes these bikes will come in with like a little spacer in between the disc brakes, the actual discs, or the actual calipers. Reflective sidewalls on the tires, that's a nice little touch. I think these are, I thought these might be Kenda tires, but they're not, they might still be Kenda tires, but I don't see their, yeah, they are Kenda tires. .27.5 by 1.95. So if you're looking at some single speeds, one thing to take a look at is what size tires are they using. Some will use much thinner tires. I think these are kind of a good happy medium, depending on what you're looking for. There we go. We'll tighten this up. So yeah, what's cool is, this bike comes in at a really great price point, and then if you want any of the accessories you can, or you can upgrade over time. Great way to affordably get on an electric bike. All right, so we're good there. Now let's see. To kind of brace the bike here. I should spin this around maybe. There we go. That'll be a little bit easier. Okay, let's keep taking stuff apart. Check your questions quick. Are battery upgrades to the RadMission available? Yeah, so you can use the larger packs. And yes, Anthony is correct. Anything with since 2018 onwards, I believe that date is correct. Well, they all have the same battery packs. All right. Speaking of battery, let's take. It's almost like these are using. These are kind of like reusable zip ties, maybe. Yeah, that's cool. I'm definitely going to keep those. Again, the battery warning. And it is nice, I feel like, that this being a single speed, you don't have to worry about gears, low maintenance. Right, so there's that 10.4 amp hour pack. So that's it actually looks, I wonder if it's just a little, like, not quite as tall compared to the current packs, to maybe put them side by side. There we go. So there's that different seat post, just like not branded at all, that I can see at least. And of course, one of the things with the RadMission is that all the electronics are external. You have the controller here. It's literally bolted to the frame here, which it's not as clean of a look as something that has an integrated battery and controller. They still internally route some cables. It looks like here the battery connection comes down into the frame right here. External here to the rear light. So, but what I do like about the Rad bikes is because everything is external. If you ever wanted to years down the line, and you want to upgrade something, you should be able to buy some kind of kit and just replace everything. You don't have to worry about buying a specific battery case or anything like that. So that's kind of a benefit, I guess. So I think this is called gray on the website. Definitely a lighter gray. But still looks really nice. And I'm kind of taking my time installing this. I mean, you can definitely, or putting this together, you could definitely do it a little bit more efficiently, just taking my time. Got some protectors on the bolts in the rear. Yeah, looks like they still have a torque arm back here. 18 millimeter wrench, I think, is what you need if you needed to remove this. And the motor is branded as Rad Power Bikes. I'll probably do some more research into maybe what kind of motor they're using. Let's see, maybe if I can find the pedals here, where I put those. Here they are. If you're buying this bike, unless you have a specific reason not to buy a kickstand, I would definitely purchase one. I think they're $15 from Rad. Buy it when you buy the bike and you don't have to pay the extra shipping. Though I did hear that Rad has changed some of the shipping costs, so it's not quite. It used to be that if you ordered even a tube or something, the shipping was like $15. It just didn't make sense to me. Okay, so these are Welgo pedals, but they're plastic. So they're not the metal ones that you would see on other Rad models. To be honest, I'll probably, if it were me, I would switch these out. But we'll just screw them in for now, and I'll do, for my test riding, I'll maybe use them and I can talk more to them. But you're definitely going to be more prone to getting beat up and stuff, being that they're plastic. They are labeled left and right, so the left pedal will go on the left side and it'll be opposite, so turning it left will tighten it, and then the right pedal is just normal righty-tighty. And let's see, wrench, 16, 15, there we go. Right pedal. Let's see. Trying to keep up with some of your comments here. Yeah, a lot of people don't notice. I mean, if you just see a bike for a second, some of these bikes you don't really notice they're electric. I mean, depending on where you live, I wouldn't really worry about getting called out. I mean, unless your e-bikes are banned on a trail that you ride on. Okay, Candor asks a good question about e-bike maintenance versus standard bikes. So one thing to keep in mind, and people kind of get hung up on this a lot, I feel like. One thing to keep in mind is that e-bikes share a lot of the same components as a regular bike. So the disc brakes, the discs, if you had a derailleur, they're using Shimano parts in many cases. So those can be maintained by a regular bike shop. Now, whether they're willing to work on it is another question, but if you do have issues with some of the, like, you know, the battery and stuff, like, that's what's nice about Rad being there. But from my experience and what I hear from other people, it's kind of like, if you get your bike and everything kind of works and you don't need to deal with Rad right off the bat with like a motor that's not working properly or a battery or something like that, you're probably going to be set. I mean, we have 4,300 miles on our Rad wagon and we have had no issues. The only thing I've had to do is replace the brake pads. And again, those are like a regular component. I can go to Amazon and buy brake pads if I want to. So a lot of the components, handlebars, the stem, like all that stuff is, you know, you can get your regular maintenance done at a bike shop, lubing the chain, cleaning, you know, the sprockets and everything. So, yeah, I think a lot of people get really hung up on that. You know, if your main components with the battery system, you know, aren't working right off the bat, then, you know, Rad can help you out. And they can even, you know, they're going to be around to help you out over the long term too. And one of the nice thing is, I talked about this earlier, like the Rad community is huge. They've sold, you know, at least 100,000, I think, maybe even 200,000 electric bikes. And so there's tons of people to answer your questions, help you out. And we have the forum. You can ask questions. People are more than happy to help out, help you do maintenance on your bike, help you troubleshoot different issues. I saw that someone was tuning in from Australia. That's awesome. I don't know if Rad sells in Australia. You can let me know. I'm just looking at the comments again quick. All right, so we got the pedals on. Let's see, what else am I going to do? I think I can look to see how this, I kind of have all the parts kind of thrown around here. I'm not sure. There's probably a screw somewhere for the front light that I probably set down here. But the front light would mount right here. And then there's a connection point there. I can see, I'm sure it's somewhere in here. Yeah, I'll have to look for that that later. But let's see. I think the bike is pretty well set up. I can see turn on here. Or maybe even the battery is actually turned off. And those keys I set down somewhere. Let's see. Lots of packaging here. And I actually have the fenders here. I can unbox those maybe. I think they're just simple plastic fenders, but they work. Here's the bolts for the fenders. Can't remember what the fenders run. see. Do you think a belt drive offers any advantage over traditional chain? I have seen it crop up on newer e-bikes. So less maintenance. I mean, I should caveat this with I haven't ridden on a belt. Well, let me go back. I've ridden on a belt drive e-bike. I tested out the Serial 1 electric bikes by Harley Davidson. You can check out that video on my YouTube channel. It looks like actually this fender came cracked, so I'll contact Rad about that. So that won't be going on, and I'll probably wait on this one as well. I don't know if they'll want both sets back or how they'll handle that. Let's see here. Hi, I'm new to e-bikes and want something that can go slow, like 10 miles per hour. I mean, you can go 10 miles an hour. I guess you can turn the pedal assist to 1, and depending on how much effort that you put into it, there's definitely some bikes that you can get that will allow you to go into the settings and limit the speed of the bike. Now, I don't know if they'll let you go all the way down to like 10. I would think so. That's not actually a use case I've really come across, but that's a good question. But you probably want, if you really only want to go 10 miles an hour, you might want to look into a different bike that has an actual LCD display. In fact, I think you can limit the max speed on the Rad, but I've only ever heard from people who want to increase the speed. So, and yeah, but I mean, on pedal assist 1, on some e-bikes, you're probably going 10, 12 miles an hour, or thereabouts. Let's see, I'll show off the rear rack here. I don't think I'm gonna put it on right now, but there's that rear rack. It's a little bit more affordable, I believe, than the one sold for the other models, and it does have a spot to mount that rear light, so people will be able to see it. So it comes with extender, and then typically you just zip tie the extra cabling for that rear light along here. And yeah, it seems like I think the rear racks on pretty much all the Rads are really well made. They're not super cheap, but to get something that's custom made, if they're in stock, obviously, I mean, I think that's been a challenge. And I should mention too, if you are looking for an e-bike, you might want to really think about ordering sooner rather than later. I've kind of been in touch with some folks, and there's definitely companies that are going to run out of stock. I don't know if Rad is one of them. Obviously, they have significant scale compared to many other e-bike companies, so maybe it will be less of an issue this year. But I'm already kind of seeing early signs of e-bikes potentially going out of stock. And so order early. We're really getting close to spring, and yeah, so you might want to think about what kind of e-bike you want if you want one for the summer. We've got a 25 kilometer speed limit with e-bikes, unless of course you tweak the electronics just very quietly. Yeah, so you definitely can limit the speed on some models. I was gonna say, I'm trying to find the keys. You could maybe help me.
Sure.
around here somewhere. I was gonna just power up the bike and see. I had them sitting around here. All the warning stickers. They came in like a little plastic bag that had some other stuff in it. Our fenders came cracked, but the rear rack looks good.
Oh, the fenders are cracked.
The fenders are cracked.
Ooh.
I'm sure I dropped the keys somewhere.
I don't see them.
Yeah, they're around here. I saw them. All right, let's see. If you have any other questions, let me know now. I think I'm probably getting close to wrapping up the stream for this evening. Again, I have the Rad Power Bikes Owners Forum at radowners.com. I have tons of content about Rad Power Bikes on YouTube, on ebikeescape.com. And I have a few different electric bikes that I'll be reviewing. This one, obviously, the KBO commuter bike that I unboxed last week. And let's see, I think I might have, I don't want to say the brand because I don't know yet if it's coming. But there's maybe 2 more e-bikes, one on the higher price range that I'll hopefully be reviewing that's like brand new. And perhaps another single-speed electric bike, so I'm working on some things behind the scenes to review some more e-bikes, especially as we get closer to spring. And yeah, I'm really excited to check out the RadMission. If you want me to feature anything in the review that you're really curious about, let me know in the comments. Obviously, I know people are going to be curious about hill climbing ability and some of those things, so that will for sure be a part of this review. I actually might take this, I think range is probably another consideration. I don't prefer doing range tests, but because this is a single speed, there's not as many variables. Obviously, just leaving it, you know, what pedal assist you're using, how many hills you're going up. So I might take this on a longer ride on Tuesday to kind of get an idea of the range. So here's the battery. I was just gonna see what the charge was at, or here's the keys rather. All right. So yeah, it looks like the bike came fully charged. So yeah, it's you have obviously 0, no assist, 1, 2, 3, 4 for your pedal assist, and yeah, the throttle does work at 0. And yeah, let's see the lights on. Gets brighter, and I'm sure that screw is around here somewhere for that front light. I'll definitely put that on. I'm going to check the comments here once more. Alright, thanks for checking out my additional videos, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. If you did, you know, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Really appreciate that. Give the video a like. You know, all those small things help keep the channel going. Again, if you're purchasing a Rad Power Bike, please consider using my link on my website, ebikeescape.com. I'll add one to the description of this video as well. You know, that really keeps me going and focused solely on reviewing electric bikes. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon for some more e-bike content. Hopefully, maybe by the end of this week, I'll have that KBO review out if I can get all the editing and writing in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.